Hello everyone. Fred Matiang'i has been rated as the most preferred presidential candidate for the united opposition, to face William Ruto in 2027 electoral contest. According to several political analysts, Fred Matiang'i's candidacy has been endorsed by Gen Zs and professionals from across the country, with great support from the youth and huge public figures in the political class.
If you look at the research 80-20 on the presidential election, page 28, approval of presidential candidate, it is number 1, Fred Okengo Matiangi. You go to presidential candidate nationwide, Fred Okengo Matiangi, number 2, William Ruto, 21, Kalonzo at 11%. Go to preferred presidential candidate Gen Z, it is Fred Matiangi, then William Ruto at 18, then Babu Owino at 9, then Kalonzo at 9%. I'll be saying 3 or 4. Millennials, Fred Matiangi, William Ruto, Kalonzo at 10. Gen X, Fred Matiangi, the same. Counties led by Fred Matiangi. If you look at these counties, Nyamira, Pokot, Kware, Kisii, Embu, Nyandarua, Isiolo, Nakuru, Kilifi, Lamu, Kiambu, Meru, Laikipia, Kajiado, Bungoma, Kakamega, Samburu, Busia, Tharaka Nithi, Nyeri, Mombasa, and Nairobi. Against counties led by William Ruto. If you look at the counties led by William Ruto, and counties led by Matiangi, you will realize like 2 or 3 of the counties that Matiangi is reading can take half of all the entire counties, half that Ruto is reading. I mean, if you take, because Matiangi is reading in the most populous counties, then look at Ruto. Half of the counties is reading, they cannot add up to anything. Numbers 0.
Having been endorsed by the Jubilee Party, Matiang'i has a front leg up, as the only potential serious contender in the united opposition, to face William Ruto in 2027. According to several political analysts, Fred Matiang'i does not need to type his name on billboards for popularity, but many Kenyans have known him as a no-nonsense state officer, who works passionately to deliver results by facing the common challenges head-on.
I will not shirk, verge, bend, or even hide from my public responsibilities.
Yeah.
It will be my responsibility, and the buck will stop at my desk.
Yes.
I will face these guys head-on. I'll face them down, the way I faced the examination cartels in education.
Yeah.
The way I faced the criminals when I was Minister for Interior. I'll face them up. Number 2, I will not compromise. I will not have conversations or negotiations with the criminals.
Yeah.
And I will not be party to those people, and they will not persuade me in any other way. Number 3, I'll follow the law. You know, the beauty about this country is that we have all the laws that we need to manage the country. We don't even need new law or even new institutions. We have enough institutions. We have enough laws. What we don't have is enough courage and enough forthrightness in the management of the country.
Yeah.
That's what we are missing. Okay. And then, you know, when people ask me these questions, I tell them, there is no better way of fighting corruption. There is no better way of fighting this nonsense than exemplary leadership, leading by example. Right. You cannot tell people to stop doing what you do every day yourself. Yeah. And if those people who are engaged in those businesses know that they can't bring money to you and you will not take it, and that you will punish them, they will.
During his tenure in public service, Fred Matiang'i served in 3 significant portfolios as a cabinet secretary for 10 years under Uhuru's government. In his performance record, Matiang'i implemented consequential landmark reforms and policies that impacted lives of Kenyans in many ways. As the Cabinet Secretary for ICT, Matiang'i transformed the media technology by enforcing analog to digital migration, a move that impacted a significant advantage to the growth of our technology in Kenya. Equally enough, Matiang'i is the only CS who succeeded to fight cartels in the education sector, and managed to disappear exam malpractices for KCSE exam cheating.
What are we going to do in 2027, and what am I doing? I'm writing a letter of application. You mean I apply as Naandikia wa Kenya, dear Kenyans. Reference, position of President of the Republic of Kenya. My name is Fred Matiangi. According to the Constitution, the position of President of the Republic of Kenya will be vacant in 2027. I hereby apply for that job. Then I'm now going down to tell you, I worked before here, I did APC, these are my accomplishments. I give you my CV, you look at it. Sasa kila mtu aweke yake hapo. niweke yangu hapa na mwingine alete yake. What mtu hakuna story hapo. Hii sasa ni kazi tunatafuta, ni kazi tunatafuta. Sasa story inatokea wapi? Ni kazi tunatafuta. Mimi sisi naenda kucha, barua yangu ya application is ready, nitaileta hapa na CV muangalie. Nilikuwa hapa ni network digital migration. I told Kenyans we must migrate because our potential is in digital liberalism. Expand the broadband footprint in the country and allow our creativity to thrive. Sit somewhere in the corner where you are and ask yourself, where would we be today if we had not migrated? If we didn't succeed to migrate, where would we be today? With those online jobs and the YouTubers we are seeing and the work going on with that, where would we be today? With online learning and everything. So, I put my foot down, change happened. We can see the benefit. Went to Joko House, met the cartel, met the teachers, they told me, you know, see, this is the 2.5 people in the level, but kwa wanalipa pesa kila mtu, they will intimidate you and so on. We will succeed if you become farm. I said I am ready. When the cast, bring them out of town. In 2 years, we moved the student book ratio to 1:1. We are the case study for many people around the world. Like chase the textbook cartels out of town. So I'm saying my CV is here. And the presence is not a qualification. They have been around. You know, we are not going to sympathize with you and give you leadership out of sympathy. Tunakuonea huruma kwa sababu umekaa kwa jua for a long time. Nimekaa hapa. Mwenyeonea huruma. Mimi CV iko hapa na yeye hapa. Kila mtu analeta yule hapa anasema nimekuwa around, that is also, that is what is in his CV, isn't it? You are the recruiting panel.
Matiangi was also rated as the Super CS under Uhuru's government after he emerged as the best performing CS Minister for Interior, coordinating several processes in government. According to speculations and the feeling of many other Kenyans, Fred Matiangi appears to be the only fair candidate who can challenge William Ruto in matters of enacting policies and fighting the rampant corruption in Kenya. Matiangi's track record actually speaks volumes to the people of Kenya, and his words always give a hope to a better Kenya. Many young people have readily endorsed his presidential candidacy through social media and during Gen Z protests, with a string of die-hard supporters from across the country who have expressed their confidence in Matiangi as President 2027. However, a class of few critics and selfish tribal politicians have also started building up to criticize Fred Matiangi on some of the most nonsensical matters during his tenure of public service, although his response has always been clear to silence his critics up to their satisfaction, whereby no sane person can afford to deny the facts and figures presented during his interviews in an honest opinion.
Wote Mheshimiwa Matiang'i anafaa aheshimiwe kabisa. Juu sasa ndio mtu wetu, hata sisi tumeona na ndio tunategemea. Kwa hivyo Matiang'i afanye nini? Aheshimiwe kabisa na watu wote, juu makabila zote zimemheshimu, mpaka watu kutoka Amerika wanasema ni Matiang'i. Lazima aheshimiwe.
It is assumed that the stubborn critics are those people who oftenly keep on raising similar questions that have been answered satisfactorily, but most of these are mere politicians and members of other political parties who keep on denying truths that have been set in black and white.
Allow the public service infrastructure to work as effectively as it ought to.
Okay.
So that I am not appointing people because of the tribes they come from, calling and looking for political stillborns around people who have contested elections and failed, then trusting them with very critical responsibilities of government. Slowly, confidence in government will return, and then the trust of government will return, and then of course I will rein in on the wastage of public service. The government is too wasteful for a country of our size and so on. All this nonsense you are seeing around about empowerment and people moving around the villages, giving
with
people
millions
money
of shillings
and so on, giving people rice and so on. That is really not how to manage the country.
All right.
Because those things are not sustainable. They are not going to take us anywhere. That's why there is no capitation in schools and so on.
In their motive, the greed is what compels them to force a way to raise very boring conversations and petty criticisms. Not because they don't understand, but it's because they would like to protect their selfish political interests led by greed and tribalism within the political parties. However, in the view of many Kenyans, any neutral person would actually prefer to vote for Fred Matiangi, who demonstrated great passion to working for the people, and his commitment to public service. Thank you and keep on subscribing.